Not exactly breaking news at this point by the time I upload this, but what can we say? It seems like the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in, to borrow some Russiagate phrasing. But to be honest, I don't know anymore. So Trump has been mentioned in some more emails connected to Jeffrey Epstein. Back in April 2011, Epstein emailed Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently in a low security prison after being moved following a meeting with the DOJ just a few months ago. And in the email, he tells Maxwell, quote, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Blank spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Maxwell responded, I have been thinking about that. So the redacted victim listed in this email is apparently Virginia Giuffre. So I guess GOP members of the House Oversight Committee identified this person as Virginia Giuffre. And again, this is a woman who recently died in the first quarter of 2025. In another email, Epstein writes former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers that Trump is borderline insane. And in another, he writes, I know how dirty Donald is, in an email to former White House counsel under Obama. Her name is Catherine Rumler. From CNN, they say that in an email from January 2019, Epstein wrote to Michael Wolff to address Trump's claim that he asked Epstein to resign his membership at Mar-a-Lago. Trump said he asked me to resign, Epstein wrote, saying, never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So I've seen some major conservative cope here, which is something along the lines of, he asked them to stop, right? He severed ties with Epstein. He stopped being friends with him. Really, what year was that? Because they keep changing their story. First, it's 2007. Then it's 15 years prior to 2019, which would be 2004. Then it's some other time. They seem to be fine with Trump doing illegal things, but then eventually having a change of heart and barring Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. They try to paint Trump as someone who's a hero in this story. It's like Trump is always at the wrong place, at the wrong time, with the wrong people, right? With Epstein, January 6th. He didn't deny the election results. He's just a good guy who happens to hang around with just absolute filth sometime, but don't we all? Goes on to say that Trump barred Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for, quote, being a creep, and Trump himself has said Epstein stole young women from Mar-a-Lago, explaining why their relationship ended. So in her interview with Todd Blanche from the DOJ, Maxwell denied ever recruiting at Mar-a-Lago. I believe that they did recruit at Mar-a-Lago, and honestly, maybe Trump did tell them to stop, but I mean, it doesn't say anything. Maybe he only wanted them to stop because he was afraid that he would get caught. They had been there for some time, I imagine, doing things, and he probably thought it was fine then. Now, again, Virginia Giuffre worked at Mar-a-Lago. That's how she knew Trump when she was younger, right? That's how she met Jeffrey Epstein. And I can't get over this whole thing. I remember seeing pictures of Virginia Giuffre really bruised up after an apparent car accident that she had earlier this year. At that time, she said she wasn't suicidal, and then a few months later, she was dead. Now, remember that Epstein is on tape saying that he was Trump's closest friend. He talks about Trump basically being a horn dog. So let's listen to a bit of this tape that was taken by Michael Wolff in his conversations with Epstein. Apparently, there's close to 100 hours of tape.
How do you know this?
That was close to straight. Guys from the post talk would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this is just amazing. And he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like in there? He'd say, You like having sex with your wife? How often do they? You'd say, it's great. How, seriously, right now, how often do we have sex? I mean, don't you want the trouble? You and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic Coast. Hawaiian. So come over at 3 o'clock. You're gonna have a great time. I promise you, Michael. It's just me and you. You're gonna have a great time. Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs. The whole time, Victoria's been on the phone, listening. He set it up because he wants a story. So he has.
Earlier this year, we had the whole birthday card story. Trump and a bunch of other people wrote a super strange birthday card to Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump's card said, and by the way, it's drawn over a body of a naked woman, and it reads like a script, voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes, we do, come to think of it. Donald, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Donald J. Trump. I mean, it's just too on the nose. It's too there. It's too noticeable. It almost just looks like something that's out of a movie. That's why I feel like we are living in some weird simulation here. I don't understand how we can be at the point where the president of the United States was writing a birthday card like this to Jeffrey Epstein, who is then put in prison a second time in 2019. He dies because he's on suicide watch. 2 guards fall asleep, and then there's 1 minute missing from the tape. It just happens to be the minute where he commits suicide. How convenient. But again, everyone, he's just the unluckiest guy in the world. His friends are dying in prison, and he can't catch a break, right? I don't know. I mean, the level of just tribalism here. I hope I never have that level of tribalism for anything, where someone that I, were to look up to or admire or whatever, if they did something terrible, that I would side with them the way that conservatives still side with Trump, knowing all of the terrible stuff that he's done. And again, the left were the ones calling out Epstein's connection to Clinton, like probably 2013, 2014. I remember Reddit conspiracy in 2013, people talking about his connection with the Clintons. Trump, I don't think, was even mentioned until 2016, 2017, and then, of course, in 2019. Anyway, what do you guys think? How much more needs to come out to convince a Trump supporter to stop supporting him based on this? Or what else would need to come out? What can we even do at this point? Right? They're set to vote on releasing the Epstein files soon, but do you think anything will actually come of it? I just feel like we've gone way off track, and it's difficult to get this thing back on. And again, people who have been friends with Epstein include Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew just lost his title because of all of the shit that happened with Epstein, particularly with Virginia Giuffre. Anyway, thanks everyone.